never big enough. No matter what I get, it's never big enough. Got my little Trotec. Jobs came in and they were getting bigger and bigger. So we bought a bigger Trotec. Now they don't fit, it's because they're getting bigger and bigger. But luckily enough, we've got the pass-through, which means we can do bigger and bigger. We can do that wide by 47, 50 miles long. And I'm going to show you how we set it up. Our first job is to put the panel into the laser and get it somewhere near aligned. So we'll line up the top, line up our sides, get it so that it's somewhere in position and we're happy with it. That's not far off. See, I've got wooden spacers in, just spacing it away from the side to make my life easier. And the rest of it, we then go into the software. So we're now in the software. That little blue cross there is our laser head, and that's actually live. So that's telling us exactly where the laser head is. Those spacers that were in the laser are what this guideline represents. Guidelines up and down. We use guidelines for everything. Gives us an exact placement. And then we've got some cut lines on there. Make sure that everything's all lined up. And then we've got a couple of different colours. One of these, the blue one, we are actually going to cut that because we need to cut the film off before we engrave it. So we've got them all set up. So that's all done, in position. Back over to the laser to see if it's lined up. Start that running. That should draw around the panel for us and tell us whether we're good or whether we're not. Not sure if you can see on the camera, but there's a little red dot. And that red dot is following the edge of that panel absolutely perfectly. So that means that I have managed to line that up absolutely 100% bang on. First time without any mess ups, screw ups. It's marvellous. What a day. And what we'll do now is we'll cut this film off around the boxes of the text that we're going to engrave. You obviously can't engrave through that film. And there's the hard part if you're a fingernail biter. And luckily enough I'm not. I've seen where my hands go during the day. There is no way that I'm going to be biting my fingernails. Peely peely. And I'm sure you're wondering why we don't just peel it all off. But we don't want to peel it all off because we don't want to expose the steel to unnecessary knocks and bangs and scratches. Stainless steel is great, it's the hardest material on the planet, but you can scratch it just by looking at it. So we have to be extremely careful. So there we go, that's peeled off just where we want it. All ready for the next step. Get some engraving done. So as you can see, it's a multi-stage process. I can't actually remember what stage we're at. What number stage we're on anyway. But we are at the engraving stage. So now, let's hit it. There's a huge amount of different settings that we can use depending on the type of material and the type of engraving that we're doing. But this panel is actually on high quality mode, which is why the red head is going from one side of the panel to the other completely. It's not just engraving the width of the text, it's engraving the width of the entire panel. And on stainless steel that gives us a much cleaner, tidier, prettier engraving at the end of it, which you'll see very shortly. That's what we call the beep of joy. Tells us that phase, I don't know what phase we're on, but it's done. Yes, looks marvellous. However, there's another step or a phase because we need to engrave on the bottom of it as well. So we've got to put it back in the machine. So we're using the same plate file, so we can just delete that drawing because we don't need it anymore, and then we find the next drawing which I think is that one. We'll soon find out. We can snap it back up to our guidelines and we know that that's exactly where the edge of the panel is, so we know that's going to be correct. We're going to skip that. We're going to put our cut line back on, and we're going to put our cut line back on for that one. Why didn't you skip? Press the right button, Jim. Right button is done. Right, so now we've got the red line again, we've got the blue line for the bit we're going to cut off the stuff. We've got our paneling upside down, so yes, this is upside down, but it's the correct upside down that we want. We love upside down stuff. Close the lid. Set the machine going again to see whether we're perfectly lined up. Now you can't see this bit, but it's really boring, but I can tell you that that panel hasn't moved, nothing's moved. We're using the guidelines. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. We're good to go. I'm never brave enough just to press go. I always have to test, make sure, is it 100% lined up? There's nothing worse than it not being, because once we put it on, it's not coming off. So we make sure it's correct. Marvellous. And back to the advertisement for not biting your fingernails. Look at that, look at my lovely long thumbnail. That's just like a pick a nail, that's what that's for. Too big to go up my nose though. Get that off. That's all moved. But because we know that they're correct, we just shove it back up and job's a good one. Ready to engrave. When I said that was the beep of joy, it is until we're running our wholesale orders, and that's beeping like that every 2.5 minutes from 8 till 5. It's like the worst beep test in the world. But there you go. Let's turn it the right way. There is our lovely engraved panel. Laser etched, permanent, food safe, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Give us a follow for more amazing content. If you're interested in amazing content, I don't know, you might not be.